Welcome to the solutioning part. Here we are going to create a bot that's going to extract the temperature from Google based on the location which we provide. In case if you miss out or not able to follow the previous exercise, kindly follow the section along with me so that you will be able to create your first bot. Let's get into it. For the first, you have to create a process. Creating a process, you have to go to Studios by clicking Studios or Studios icon. I hope you will be familiar by this time. And I've created a folder which is under process, this read temperature. And inside that, I have created a process with the proper index BP07 and the temperature extraction as a name. From where it has been coming, it's going to coming from Google. So I didn't add anything because we are going to start building the bot along with you. So that there is a simple process which I've created and I didn't do any addition on that. Similar to that, I'm going to add an object into the read temperature folder and we'll start building the exercise. So I'm going to create an object with the proper name, i.e. Internet Explorer. Temperature extraction from Google. Based on the location input. So clicking on finish, it's going to create a new object under read temperature folder. So now the object is created, which is high temperature extraction from Google, and you can see the version history which is available here. We'll start building the first object to launch Internet Explorer, and followed by that you will have an attach page. Then it will pass location into your Google search page, hit search, then read the temperature from there, pass the value to your process main page where you can store it. So we are going to follow step by step each one. I'm in Object Studio. The object which we've created, which is IE temperature extraction, I've just opened the object. I hope by this time now you will be familiar to open Internet Explorer by modeling your application modeler section. So as part of the first step, we have to design or we have to model our application modeler. I'm just going to application modeler. I don't want to change the application modeler name. Then there is a browser based application which is Internet Explorer. I'm going to launch it from executable path. Followed by that, I'll be having so just I've created application modeler. In that you can be able to see that element one, but by default you will have at the first time. So now we are going to get into the launch and start recording the element. So the next step to record your application action, so the place to like Google search and Google icon, you need application to get launched, and only then you can be able to add or you can be able to create your element in application modeler. To do that, you have to launch your application. You have a launch option available in application modeler. Either you can click it here or in Object Studio also you have a launch option next to error. You can click that. It's going to get launch your application. So just click on launch. You will get a Google page which is getting loaded. Now I need the search area to get it spied. So click on identify. So first option will be Internet Explorer opening in HTML mode. Based on the backend document object model for this search text, I can be able to spy this. And once you get the text area, use Control and mouse click left button. It will record the attributes into your element one, and you can rename the element. So I'm going to rename it as, like, it is a text area, so just rename it Google text area. You can give some a meaningful name. In case if you want to define the spying mode, you can mention that here as well. So you can give it as HTML. So by looking at the name itself, you will be able to find that this is a Google text area and it has been spied in HTML when you open for the next time. But that's completely optional. There is no restriction for you to do it in this way or that way. And I'm suspecting that parent URL will get changed, but let's keep it as it is and go for the next element. So the next one is like button, which is a Google search. And identify that that's also going to be in a web mode, HTML mode, and click on that. Mouse click left along with the control option from your keyboard will help you to have this attributes, which is element capturing. And you can be able to see if you have any empty elements, empty value in your attributes. You just have to uncheck it because that's not going to make you any sense. Just apply. You can able to see whether it's getting highlighted or not. If it is not highlighted, just go with the other spying mode if it is not working anything with your HTML mode. So now the search text area is done, button is done. So I'm going to write here my location and I'm going to click search so that it's going to search to the Google page. So now you have captured the text area and button from the Internet Explorer. Just click OK in the application modeler so that it will get closed, and try to model that page. Don't make everything on single page in your Object Studio. Make as small as possible. You might have remember the point when I discussed about object overview session. I've explained objects should be small, simple, and reusable so that it can be reused at multiple places. If you start building everything on one page, you cannot reuse it the other places. So I'm going to split the page as IE open first page. It's going to launch it, and next to that it's going to check whether it is attached or not. After that, search Google text, and Google search icon, click, read temperature, click back. So first you're going to open Internet Explorer, then going to check whether application is connected or not. After that, search the temperature in Google search page and click the button, which is Google search button, and then read the temperature, which is going to come in the next page. And after reading the temperature, you have to come again back to the search page to search the next location. That's how it has been ordered. I have arranged it. So you can arrange as for your comfort. So there is no rule that you have to follow only in this way, but this is the way I'm going to follow. So as I explained, first one is like Internet Explorer open. So to launch Internet Explorer, you have to go to navigation stage and rename it as launch IE, which is Internet Explorer, and use the top one, which is the root one in Application Explorer, and you will have actions will get populated. In that, choose launch. Don't specify anything because you have already defined in application modeler when it opens, it should open with Google as a target web page. In case if you want to go to any other web page like other weather website, weather checking website, you can give the path to navigate to that way. So right now we are not going to do that. So launching Internet Explorer is done. Next for attach. So here we are going to check whether my application is attached or not. So you can make this as a rule book for you. Wherever you create attach in your process upcoming, or in even in your business logics, when you go for a live project, you have to use this sequence to find whether your application is getting attached or not. Use a reader stage and check whether application is to connected to Blue Prism or not. To do that, you have to use again the root element in your application explorer, put it into the elements section, and in the data you have an option called is connected at the last, which is going to say you in the form of a flag whether it is connected or not, which means whether it is attached or not. You can store that result flag in the name of attach. You can store in whatever name you want, and as soon as you enter the name here, you have to click the icon so that it will automatically create a flag. You can be able to see here as a attach. Now I have created a flag to check whether it is attached or not. So to check that, you have to use a decision, check whether it is attached or not, just connect it and use the flag inside the decision. So just drag it inside that so that you will have a decision. And if it is connected, you're going to just follow to the next step, which means like you're not going to do anything. But if it is not connected, you're going to connect it so that you're going to attach it. To do the attach, you need again a navigation stage and rename it from navigation 1 to attach and use the root element to attach it. Here you want to specify some certain parameter as I explained. In this case, I'm going to work with the first tab, which is like the root one, and process name, it should be within double quotes. I explore. To know your process name, you have to go to task manager and see the application process name and paste it here without exe, without the extension. If you have any extension, just remove that part. And window title, if you want, you can give, but I'm going to give it as like a Google and wildcard at the index. So if it is not connected, it's going to attach and then it's going to come to end, which means like if the application is connected, don't do anything. If the application is not connected, then go and attach it. So this is the way of creating attach page in every business object. You can use the same concept in all your projects wherever you want to use it. The attach concept is going to be the same, and even the flow structure is also going to be exactly same. So in this case, we are going to check now whether the process is attached or not. It is attached. You can see the flag as true. If it is not attached, it's going to take this route, and this navigation stage is going to help you to attach your process. So the next part is search text. So we are going to use the search text part. Sorry, you have to use the right stage because we have to write the location. And this is the text area I want to write it. The value, now I'm going to give the value in the form of a data item instead of giving directly as a hard-coded value. This I'm going to change it or give it as a location. So as soon as you rename the data item from data item 1 to location, you can hard code it here. For example, I'm going to give it as London and just connect this. Don't forget to call the data item into your writer stage because that's going to pass your value to the element which you have modeled in application modeler. So now it's going to pass the value from location data item to the text area, Google text area. But before that, I need to concat a value because it needs few other information as well. So concat a value along with your location, because I need to check the particular location value. So what I'm doing is like adding the temperature prior to that, I mean next to the location name. So click that. This will get added for all the location, so that you will have, for example, London temperature, Australia temperature, similar to that. I don't want the Google to have just London, just Australia. So what we are going to search, we have to add that as well. So here, instead of location, I can add, just give ampersand symbol and then drag your temperature. So you will have the value as London temperature. Just we have to refresh it and add the value here. So now if you go into your value and evaluate it, you will have London temperature. If you want a space in between, you can give the space as well. So you can add space in between and then you can add a ampersand symbol, so that you will have location, space, a temperature. So this is going to be our text which is going to search in Google. After writing this, we have to click on the search button. So to click the search button, we have an option here in the navigation. Use the button search in the element and choose the option as click center. Just connect it with start and end. So we are writing the text and we are clicking search. Next, we have to read the temperature. So we have to read the temperature. We didn't spy anything in application modeler, and to click back also we didn't spy anything in our application modeler. So to do that, we are going to do now. Get into the Google page and try to search manually, like London temperature, so that it will load to this page, because you have to capture for the first time what is the flow. Only then it will be captured from the next upcoming session. So this is again a text. Read temperature, identify. So as it is a web-based applications, you will get a first identification. So I'm going to read the temperature part. It's going to give you the value and uncheck all the empty data item as you have and try to highlight it. If it highlights, then your spying is okay, which is like kind of a correct one. And after reading this, you have to go back again to the Google search page so that you can search the next one, in case if you have the country or the locations in the form of a loop. So button back. I'm going to spy this button part in AA mode, because active the basic HTML mode will be available only in this DOM page, which is in this page, but active accessibility will be available outside as well. So I'm going to use this active accessibility mode to spy the back button. And as you see, you will be able to see the different attributes which is coming when you do some spying with active accessibility mode. To change the spying mode, as I said earlier, I'm going to repeat it. You can change the spying mode using Alt button and try to highlight it. It should highlight. Okay. So if it is not highlighting, just try to adjust the parameter. It will result in a positive way. So click OK. Now we are almost done what we need to do, and go to the read text, read temperature, and you're going to get a correct current value, and that's going to store in temperature data item. Just click here so that it will get automatically created under the text data type. Connect this to read temperature. Now you are going to have the output in this data item. Just before getting every flow connected to the Process Studio, try to make sure that it is working fine. So you will be able to see 13.56, which is coming as a value, and you have degrees and centigrades in the form of picture where you have available in your Blue Prism data item. That's more or less similar to the one which is available in your Google page. So you might wonder like why it is having 13.56, but you don't have such values available in the Google page, because it is taking the value from backend DOM, document object model, for the web page it has been built. So it's taking exactly from the beginning, so it will have more precise value. At the last, you have click back, because you have to click back to proceed with the next option if you are having the content or the location in the form of a collection or loop iteration. So use the navigation stage and have a click back option. Drag the element which we've spied from application modeler and use the option as mouse click center, so that it's going to click exactly on the click back option, this back arrow at the center. If you give mouse click, it's going to ask you x and coordinates, y, x and y, where it need to get click. So it's always advisable to have a mouse click center, so you don't need to specify any x and y value. And just connect it. So now we are almost done with doing a development in an object level. We have to call this object into a process and take the value from Process Studio and read the value also from Process Studio, nothing directly in the object. So object is going to deal directly to your application, and it's going to give you the result directly into the Process Studio after reading that. So to get this object visible to our Process Studio, we have to publish each and every page by right clicking it. I didn't publish the attach page because attach is not going to do any action. It's going to make sure whether the page is connected or not. So to do that, it's better always to have attach in every beginning of the page. So just connect it at the beginning of each page, so that every time when it runs, before it performs anything, it's going to check whether the page is connected to Blue Prism or not. In case if it fails, you have to check the window title, because the initial screen which it was there, now at the time it was, the window title was Google. After that the window title might get changed. You might see the window title, it might get changed, but still you have a Google at the end. As we have given wildcard and the window title, it's not going to make a difference. But if it throws error, you have to adjust according to this exact window title, so that it will not throw any error when I try to attach. So there is one more thing I just want to explain. So in case if the attach fails, it's going to throw error here, and you have to catch the error, and if you want to retry, you can do retry. Now why I'm not doing any retry activity and exception part is like we haven't covered any exceptional part till now. So let's assume that it's going to work as a happy path, and it's going to work as expected. And coming up next in the different session, we are going to discuss more in detail about exception handling. That time we can discuss on that portion. There is one more thing where we have to do now. So we have successfully created an object, and we have checked whether object is connected or not. If the object is not connected, we are doing attach everything. And we didn't give any time because there might be time taken, or it will take some time to load your object. Based on your internet speed, it will get a delayed. So for that case, it's always advisable after attach, you have to check whether the requested element or whether the expected spy element which you did a spying is loaded successfully or not. To check that, you have to use wait stage. You can double click, or you can use it from the toolbar which is available in the object studio, and then connect to the end. But the right now I have connected just as a static wait. But to make it conditional wait, or a like intelligent wait, what you can do is like, I'm looking for search, click search button. So what I'm going to say is like, wait a maximum of 30 seconds. But if the click search appears even in 2 seconds, start proceeding that, so that we can save the 28 seconds of time. So bot need not to wait statically for 28 extra seconds, which is ideally not required. So changing that static wait to dynamic wait. So check for button, Google search. If it exists, go to the condition, check exist, whether it is exist or not. You can give parent load, or you can give check exist. So there is two different. Check exist means it is a plain text. It's going to check whether it is there or not. Parent document load is going to see whether the whole web page is being loaded successfully or not, because there might be some CSS page with the different designs will take time to get loaded. So if your design is based on the whole web page, go for parent document load. Or if you are looking just like that a text, you can use check exist. So in this case, I'm going for document load as it is a web page, and I'm going to check a maximum of 15 seconds. So now you will have an anchor symbol coming in between wait and timeout. So this is the conditional part. If you connect it, you will have button, Google search, parent document load. The condition whole flow is going to come and have as a text. You can connect the timeout to exception, because if it is getting timeout, which means like the click search portion is not loaded successfully. Anyway, we haven't seen anything related to exception till now. So for time being, you can just use the exception which is available in the toolbar. But I'll explain in the next session. We have an exception handling session where I can explain what is the use of exception, how to use exception, everything. For time being, just use it as it is. You have to rename the wait stage as well. For you are waiting for button search. So just make it as clean as possible. And in this search area as well, so after every attach, it is better to check whether the particular element which you are looking or which you are trying to perform on the action is exist or not. So I am just adding this as a static wait, but anyway it is going to be a conditional wait. Change the time to 15, and I'm looking for a Google text area. Check whether the document load is the particular section, whether it is particularly loaded or it is successfully loaded or not. Check exist is to check only the text. Parent document load is to check the whole web page has been successfully loaded. So you can use based on your condition whatever you need, and you can have the information available. So this, if you click the information icon, it's going to give you more in detail about this whole wait properties, everything. Just click OK and connect it. Make your exception here. Don't give any exception detail, anything inside, because it's going to make you confused at this stage. We will come back to that at the later part. So here, after entering and click search, you're going to look for reading the temperature, which should be available on the next screen. So just add the read temperature part. So whole parent document loaded. So don't get confused with this conditions. It will automatically come when you use lot of conditions back to back. So at this point it might looks a little bit confusing, but there is nothing to get confused. If you want to check for some element, you can use any of those conditions based on your application behavior. So clickback, I don't need anything for clickback, because of immediately after reading the temperature I have to click back, which doesn't have any need to have any conditions. So just give click back. So on almost, I think we are done with the object creation. So we have proper object creation with uh, Blue Prism best practice, which is a simple and small, as easy to understand and reusable across the process. So upcoming next, we are going to see the process part, where we are going to call this object into our process studio and start running that. So after all, you have to save this object with proper description. So once you give the proper description for save and click the save button, it's going to get saved. Now you can be able to see the summary where object creation for reading temperature and published. So this is the summary where I have given when I save the object. So now object creation part is done. So we have to get into process creation. As I explained, you have a process which is already created, but I didn't call any actions or anything inside it. So it's like a plain process which is available for us to take it forward. So to call your object to process, first step, you have to publish the object page, or else it won't get visible. So we did publish the object pages in the object. To call the action, to call the object into your process, you have to use action stage in the toolbar. You have an action stage, you can just click on it. Just click once. If you keep clicking, you will be end up in creating more. For that, you have to change the pointer. You can use shortcut F2 and F3 to do that as well. Just try to connect. If you don't want to connect, just leave it. That's okay, because anyway we are going to connect it at the end. So first one, I'm going to use it as open IE, which is an Internet Explorer. And which object I have developed? I have a developed object which is IE temperature extraction Google. Just select that, and inside that you will have list of pages which we published. Only the page which you published is going to get visible in your process studio. The page attached is not published, so it will not get visible to your process studio. As part of first action, you have to click IE open, because that's going to launch your Internet Explorer. And then next one, you can copy the same object and change the name also if you want, from the same action. So next I have to search the text. Input location. So next to that, you have click search button. And click OK. So as part of the last one, you have a read temperature, and you will have the read temperature page, you can call it. So now connect all the action stages as a sequence where you want. So at this point, we are already created an object, published it. And now we are into the process where we are calling the object which is published. So this is going to help you to run the process, but we are not going to get the output into the process studio because we didn't pass the parameter, output parameter from object studio to process studio. That will come at the later session. So now we are going to run the process which we have integrated. To run that stage by stage, you can use either right click on the start stage and go step, which is going to get into pages and even in the object. If you click step, it's going to open your object and go one by one, which is after that it's going to get into next one. And it's going to get to the next page, which is write text. So it's going to go page by page where you can see that. But if you don't want to go page by page, but if you want to go just like that on the higher level, I'm just splitting to show the difference. Now, if you want to run it just like that, just give either you can give a play button, which is going to run. Click on the temperature and it's going to read the temperature. Yep. So this process is getting completed. Now you might face a challenge in after clicking search button, in case if your process or your object will remain same in the previous page, you have to respy it because the Google search page sometimes will not be spied properly. I'll show the example why you might face issue. If you're not facing, that's well and good. You can ignore this. To show an example, in the application modeler, I just want to get it attached because if it is attached only, I can be able to spy. Yep. So instead of this text area, I'm going to show you one more. So because there is a two places where you can write. So this is the higher level of the text area. I mean the overall div portion where you can write the text area, and this is also text area. So if you take this one, sometimes it will not recognize the text. After clicking search also, it will still remain in this page. Make sure that you are having this interior portion where you're going to write your input so that it will take you to the next page in case if you face any challenges on that. If you're not facing any challenges, that's well and good. You are perfectly on the line where we are expecting. So now we have read the temperature, which is hard coded in object level, but we didn't able to get the value back to the process studio as we haven't given any output parameter. To do that, you have to go to the read temperature page because that is a page where we are getting the output. Double click on the edit, or you can open the edit properties, and in that just click edit button and the down. It will ask you to enter the name and the descriptions and data type and the value from. So the value is coming from temperature, and the data type by default it will come text as soon as you drop it here, and the name of the data type is output. You can give the output you can give the name at anything because that's in this case I'm giving is as output temp. You can change it as much as you want or as like as you want, but it's good to have some temperature or something so that it will have some relation. If you give something called result or addition, that's not going to give you any meaningful name. Just click OK, and then if you save, it's going to ask you to take the output from the particular stage. But you might have a question like, before closing object or process, I've already asked you to check the compiler so that your process and object will have error free. So in this case, you have 3 error, but still I'm not addressing the error because I know all these 3 error are related to exception, which I haven't addressed at all. So at this point, you can ignore this and just save the object. Just save it so that your object output is going to take it forward to the process. When you go to the process studio and just give a refresh or reset to that, and go to the action item where it has been referred, and in the output, if you click, you will have the output which has been asked you to store where it need to get stored. You can create with a name as something result temperature, or if you don't want to give it on any name and you want to give it on the same name where it is coming from, you can just click on the icon, storage icon, that's going to create you a data item under a text data type. So you can expand it. If you want to make it in the block, you can put a block for that and rename it as like output. You can even change the color of the block by going there, which is the usual Microsoft formatting. So this process is very simple, and this is going to be your first bot which is developed. You can make your process or your bot evolve from this stage. Instead of having the value hard coded in the initial input, you can check that value, or you can change the value from here as an input from process level. That can be your next action item or next set of exercise you can try out. Or if you have certain set of instructions or certain set of locations which is stored in Excel or even in the collection, you can take a collection as input and as like collection input, and add a field name called place as a text, and you can add like as many rows as want. I'm going to add is like Chennai, Hamilton, London, and Delhi. Click OK. So now you have four rows in the collection instead of having one row which is in the data item, and that's going to check only one collection or one result. Now if you put those value in the form of a collection, it's going to run 4 times based on the number of collection. For that, you have to go for a loop option. You have a loop here, just take the loop, and the loop is going to start between input, and it is going to run till back option. So after opening Internet Explorer, your loop should start and it should take input, search or read, and then you have to go for one more action, which is click back, because you have to read and then you have to come back, right? So you have to give click back. So then after reading that, you are going to click back, then it should go to loop end. The loop end should go to end, because after completing all the items from collection, you have to end your process. Just connect it accordingly with the proper sequence. Don't worry about Blue Prism template at the moment, because this is a simple process where if I go for a Blue Prism template process at this point, you will get confused. So keep it in mind, but don't ignore that as well, but not at the moment. At the end of this course, we might have a lot of exercise in that we will use Blue Prism template process page. So we have added a collection. Instead of going with a single data item, it's now going to take a bunch or bulk request or bulk locations to read the value. And the loop should always contain collection as an input. It won't accept any text or a data item. I've already explained in this collection when I explained about the loops, but still I'm going to remember you. You have to give only collection as an input. So it's going to loop through 4 times. First loop will start and it will execute, come to loop end, check the next loop. So it's going to run for a 4 iteration because you have 4 rows here. and it should take input. Actually, now the way you have taken output, you have to go to the object studio and define the input for location. So I'm going to add that location as input, and save. Location input, we have added it, and just close your object because we're going to deal more with the process. If you reset your process, you will have input which will get asked. Now expand the collection because we are playing with the collection now, and inside the collection you will have a field name. Expand that and pass that as a text because it is asking text, right? If it is asked for collection, you can just directly throw the collection part. As it is asking for a text, you have to explain the collection dot field name. So the first one is Chennai. So if I expand this collection, you will have collection name is location and dot place, so that it will take the first row from a collection and the field name is place. So that is how you can run the same program in loop. You can try it on other way where you can take input from Excel and the list of countries or list of places from Excel, and read the value and store the value again back to Excel. That can be your next activity. But as we haven't seen anything related to Excel at this point, it might be very complicated for you. So just try out with all these things and let me know in case if you have any questions, and drop your comments down below. See you in the next session with exception handling.